The future of the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers, home to 17 championships, the most won by any franchise in NBA history, tied with the Boston Celtics, 19 conference titles, and a staggering 33 division titles. The Western Conference Pacific Division team have had legends of the game and Hall of Famers play for them over the years, including Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, to LeBron James, and while the resume and stars might resonate a strong team, they don't always seem so, with the NBA powerhouse often facing mayhem and their future called into question. Today we're going to take a cursory look at the future of the Los Angeles Lakers following their disappointing season where they didn't make the playoffs for the 7th time in the past 9 years, a once unthinkable stretch for such a legendary franchise. Since its founding in Minnesota back in 1948, the LA Lakers have gone through various ups and downs, and this season is no exception, but given how star-studded they are this season, fans can't help but be concerned about their future. The 2021-2022 season started with high hopes as the Lakers invested heavily in staking up the team with trades made for Russell Westbrook. Free agents like Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, Malik Monk, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and Austin Reeves were also signed to boost their roster in order to avoid the disappointment of an injury-laden roster, plus the league's health and safety protocols that plagued them the season before, where stars like Lebron James played 45 games, Anthony Davis played 36 games, and Dennis Schroeder played 61 out of the 72 games the Lakers played in the 2020-2021 season. They were also eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Phoenix Suns. The defending champion of the Larry O'Brien Trophy going out of the first round was very disgraceful since everyone considered them to be title contenders. The 2021-22 season hasn't been better either. In fact, worse given how star-studded the team is this season, and with such a caliber of players that were expected to clinch the Western Conference title easily. What happened this season isn't what fans of the NBA and even the Los Angeles Lakers envisioned. Back in the 80s, the combination of point guard Magic Johnson, power forward James Worthy, and dominant center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar created a dynasty as the superstars powered the Lakers to win 5 championships in a 9-year span. But as soon as all the superstars retired and their head coach at the time, Pat Riley, left the team, they went downhill, struggling in the early 90s. This caused many fans of the NBA to wonder what their future in the NBA would be like, with the rise of the Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, and even the Utah Jazz. It wasn't until the late 90s that they began to look like a championship-winning team again, when the duo of their 1996 drafted shooting guard, Kobe Bryant, and center Shaquille O'Neal signed from the Orlando Magic, returning them to dominance, securing the Los Angeles Lakers' second three-peat. This was also the point where they reached the finals 4 times in 5 years. Their dominance was cut short when Shaquille O'Neal got traded to the Miami Heat as they failed to make the playoffs the next season and lost in the first round of the Western Conference the next 2 seasons. Later in the 2007-2008 season, they returned to their dominance in the league when they traded for Pau Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies and they returned to the finals, losing to the Boston Celtics but winning the next 2 championships. The retirement of Phil Jackson after 11 years with the Lakers, losing Pau Gasol to free agency in 2014, and the retirement of Kobe Bryant after 20 years with the Lakers left a void in the franchise. These concerns over their future became valid as they went an entire decade without reaching the finals, failing to make the playoffs in 6 consecutive years until 2020 when the LeBron-led team won the 17th championship for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, returning to being a powerhouse, have never been in question. The question has always been how long is it going to take for them to return to their glory days. A major rebuild is expected to take place with rumors of head coach Frank Vogel, who took over the Lakers in 2019 and helped lead the team to a championship in his first season, being replaced. He came out to debunk the rumors, saying in his post-game media availability, "I haven't been told S, and I'm going to enjoy tonight's game, celebrate with what these young guys did in terms of scratching and clawing and getting back in the game and getting a W, and we'll deal with tomorrow. He had signed a 3-year contract back in 2019 and further received a 1-year extension through 2022-23 this past offseason, so the rumors might not be true. But it's not uncommon for the Lakers to sack their head coach when they plan on having a major rebuild on the team, as they had 5 different coaches over their decade-old drought. However, while appointment of a new head coach might look like the best thing to do, the experience of the coach must be considered, as he must be someone who could command the respect of the stars like LeBron and Anthony Davis. But which veteran coach could possibly decide to take over their rebuilding? Also, the Russell Westbrook trade was supposed to kickstart the beginning of their dominance, creating a super team and also providing a superstar backup for LeBron James and the injury-prone Anthony Davis. Unfortunately, the veteran point guard performance for the Lakers has been below par throughout the season. Even though the 2017 MVP averaged 18.5 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 7.1 assists per game this season, his efficiency has not been good, averaging 15.8 in field goal attempts, FGA. Head coach Frank Vogel even admitted to Westbrook not being the solution for their problems so far, stating that, "We did not win at a high rate with Russ and another star and the rest of our role players," Vogel said. "Whether it was Russ and AD with Braun out or Russ and Braun with AD out, we just haven't won in those situations." But as much of a scorer that Westbrook is, he has been a terrible three-point shooter, averaging 29.8% on 3.4 three-point attempts a game. The Lakers' biggest weakness this season was their inefficiency outside the arc with their long-range shooting, which didn't help their all-around offense and in turn couldn't balance out their amazing defense. This season, they sit second in points allowed per game with first in defensive rating, but the Los Angeles Lakers are ranked 25th in three-pointers made and 21st in three-point percentage. This resulted in ranking 22nd in points per game and 24th in offensive rating. More so, to start a rebuild after this disastrous season, the stumbling block is Westbrook's salary. He's expected to earn over $44 million this season, and he still holds a player option worth over $47 million for next season. Wondering what this means? Is it bad news considering LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook combined will earn $120 million this season for the Lakers, and the Lakers' luxury tax threshold is somewhere around $136 million? In simple words, the Los Angeles Lakers are completely cash-strapped to the point they can only use the taxpayer mid-level exception, $5.9 million, and offer minimum salary deals to free agents. So how do they build with three stars that have only played 21 games altogether? The Lakers' financial situation is the reason why during the first and second day of free agency, the Lakers agreed to terms with four of their former players: Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, and Wayne Ellington, because they will all sign on veterans' minimum deals, also agreeing terms with 37-year-old veteran and LeBron James buddy Carmelo Anthony. And while all five of those players are still agile, they're all over 32 years of age. The Russell Westbrook trade looked good on paper, but it honestly has stripped the team of having full depth and forced the Los Angeles franchise to fill out the roster with largely minimum players. These players are at best just beyond their prime, and many fans and sports analysts believe that after this disastrous season, the utmost priority for the Lakers should be to find multiple three-point shooting and defensive types of players to put around LeBron James and Anthony Davis, rather than one player who has been disappointing at both this season. Since the 1996 draft day when the Lakers drafted Kobe Bryant, they haven't been able to successfully build their team around a rookie, with multiple failed attempts with young, highly rated prospects. This has been the story for their decade-old decline until they finally signed a veteran in LeBron in 2018, who powered them to their 17th title. Notable names like D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, and Brandon Ingram have all turned out to be failed experiments. But the new kid on the block, in the person of Austin Reeves, who the Lakers signed as an undrafted free agent before this season, has turned out to be a revelation this disastrous season, averaging 7.3 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, and 1.8 assists per game, while averaging 23.2 minutes per game in the 61 games he played this season, including the first triple-double of his career against the Denver Nuggets in the final day of the regular season. This rookie has also put up career highs in points, rebounds, and assists, with 31 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. Will he be the future of the Lakers becoming the new Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant for the Lakers, or another failed experiment? We'll just have to wait and see. Many questions lie ahead for this historic franchise about its future, as many are confused about the next steps to return to their dominance. What will happen to the aging LeBron James or injury-prone Anthony Davis? Will they trade out Russell Westbrook or not? And if they decide to give him another chance, how do they cope with being cash-strapped? Are they going to build around the exciting rookie Austin Reeves? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to like it, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that already for more NBA videos. See you soon.